So let's hear it straight from the grand jury. Please welcome on the stage our jury members. I request you, ladies and gentlemen, to please come up here on the stage. We have with us, joining us again on the stage, the former Chief of the Army Staff, General Mukund Naravane. We also have the Chairperson of Asia Pacific for McCann World Group and CEO, as well as the CCO of McCann World Group India, Prasoon Joshi. Joining us will be the founder of Super 30, Anand Kumar, as well. In fact, former Director of ISRO, Dr. S Rangarajan, is also here with us, gracing the stage. Social reformist, Raymond Magsaysay awardee and Padma Shri awardee, Sonam Wangchuk. Sir, request you to please come on the stage with us. I'm going to be asking Aisha to moderate this conversation with our grand jury. Thank you so much, Aisha. I'm going to hand it over to you and the gentleman.
Thank you. Well, I must say I'm feeling the luckiest of them all right now to be with our super jury. Now, Dr. Rangarajan, if I could, start off with, you can take this mic right here next to you. Please sit down. Please sit down. Okay. So on the chair, right here. Yes. Tell me how important it is to felicitate and recognize people who are the unknown, unsung heroes, like we have been at the Amazing Indians 2023.
Well, it has been a great pleasure to be amongst this panel of juries. And when we talk about AI, be it artificial intelligence or Amazing Indians, that is the way to go for future of India. And this amazing concept is something which has taken a lot of efforts put in by Times Channel in terms of selecting the right people. It's not easy because they are spread across the country, nook and corner, and then going there, getting the right inputs, and then going through that. But I feel it's only a sample that we have got. In fact, when I took over as a director of one of the ISRO centers in way back in mid-80s, I realized that I must go and look for amazing people among my staff, and I was surprised pleasantly to see that every Indian is amazing. So it's only a question of opportunities which have to be given, in which case they will show. Nobody is to be left out. That is the way we reap the rich demographic dividend. From that point of view, I feel what we are showing in this whole process is that there are people who are extremely good, but treat them as a sample. And by looking at this show and coming to know of this, more and more people are going to follow, saying that if they could do it, why not I?
But sir, you yourself, from what I understand, have done a lot of philanthropic work in your hometown. Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Basically, for example, I stay in a very rural area in Bangalore. For various reasons, the traffic is terrible otherwise. So, but then it happens to have 4 or 5 villages, and the people whom I meet, particularly the students in government schools and very underprivileged children, first-generation children and so on, with them I spend time. And then also again I realize how interesting to see that these, because I have always moved with some of the top-notch school, the brightest people who have been in various premier institutions. But then when these children, with their very poor background, they can't even make one sentence correctly and grammatically, and people are usually written off like that. But when we go and discuss with them and make them take to the right path, a little bit of guiding is required, and you do that, and they come out and produce excellent results, be it in academics, be it in cultural activities, be it in research activities. We have shown time and again it's doable. We have published the work.
Anand Kumar ji, founder of Super 30, ladies and gentlemen, आप खुद ही एक अमेजिंग इंडियन हैं. क्या इंस्पिरेशन है आपकी?
दरअसल मैं ये बताना चाहूँगा, टाइम्स ग्रुप ने जो ये प्रोग्राम किया बहुत अच्छा किया. बहुत बार हम लोग जैसे लोग जो काम करते हैं, हमसे भी बहुत बेहतर काम करने वाले लोग हैं, जो कि गांव में, एक स्लम में टूटी फूटी साधनों के साथ काम करते हैं, उनके चैलेंजेस बहुत कठिन है। इतने टफ चैलेंजेस का उनको सामना करना पड़ता है कि पूछिए नहीं। कभी पैसे नहीं हैं, कभी अपने खुद बच्चों को भेजने के लिए स्कूल कुछ भी नहीं है उनके पास। उसके बाद समाज उन पर हंसता है, ताने मारता है, उनका मजाक उड़ाता है कि क्या यार तुम दुनिया बदल दोगे, 2-4 आदमी को पढ़ाकर, 2-4 आदमी को तुम मदद करके उनको हॉस्पिटल पहुंचा के क्या तुम दुनिया बदल दोगे। बेचारा वैसे में इंसान टूट जाता है, उसका मनोबल छोटा हो जाता है। ऐसी परिस्थिति में आप लोग टाइम्स ग्रुप ने जो लोगों का उत्साह बढ़ाने का काम किया है, उनको ये समझाने का काम किया है कि नहीं, दुनिया में इज्जत देने वाले की कमी नहीं है। आप काम करते रहिए, आप अपनी पूरी ताकत लगाए रखिए, समाज में आपकी एक पहचान होगी, आपको सम्मान मिलेगा। ऐसा काम आप लोगों ने किया है, तो सबसे पहले मैं आपको धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं, पूरे टाइम्स ग्रुप को धन्यवाद देता हूं।
थैंक यू सो मच।
और दोस्तों, एक लाइन और बताना चाहता हूं कि कहानी आपने सुपर 30 की देखी होगी और अभी देखी 2-4 साल से फिल्मों में जहां था, लेकिन 1997 में जब मैं पापड़ बेचता था, स्ट्रगल करता था, उस जमाने टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया से मुझे ऑफर आया था। 3.5 साल मैंने टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया के पटना एडिशन में कॉलम लिखा था, चैलेंजिंग प्रॉब्लम्स इन मैथमेटिक्स। और टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया हमेशा मुझे और हम जैसे लोगों को, समाज में जो दबे कुचले की आवाज उठाते, उनको आगे बढ़ाते, उनके साथ रहा। इसके लिए फिर से एक बार धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू सो मच। बट क्या कोई एक ऐसा मोमेंट था जब आपको लगा कि बस अब मैं अपनी लाइफ जो है डेडिकेट करूंगा औरों की बेहतर बनाने के लिए?
बहुत सारे ऐसे पल आते हैं आपके, हमारे सबके जीवन में। लगता है कि कुछ समाज के लिए करें, उनके बेहतर जीवन के लिए कुछ करें, लेकिन हम सोचते हैं, अपनी समस्याओं में फंस जाते हैं और नहीं कर पाते हैं। लेकिन जब मुझे एक बच्चे से मेरी मुलाकात हुई, मेरे सपने टूट चुके थे। कैम्ब्रिज यूनिवर्सिटी ड्यू टू लैक ऑफ मनी मैं नहीं जा सका था, पापड़ बेचते थे, पिताजी गुजर चुके थे। वैसी परिस्थिति में मैं देखता था कि हमारे जैसे, हमसे बहुत मेधावी, बहुत टैलेंटेड बच्चे पैसे के अभाव में सड़क पर बैठ के पढ़ रहे हैं, लैंप पोस्ट के नीचे पढ़ रहे हैं। तो मुझे लगा कि नहीं, समाज में बदलाव लाने के लिए कुछ न कुछ अच्छा करना चाहिए, और हमने इस अभियान की शुरुआत की।
Brilliant. General Naravane, you've worked across the country, and I'm sure in every part of the country lies an amazing Indian. Any particular story that may have touched you?
Good evening, everyone. Before I answer that question, I would like to thank Times Now for organizing this very wonderful event and for having invited me to be part of the jury. I am honored, not because I am part of the jury, but I am honored because I've had this incredible experience of getting to know what all our fellow citizens are doing. And there is so much for us to learn from each and every one of them. Yes, it is true that I have worked in all parts of the country, mainly in the border areas to the north and northeast. And even there, I would like to say that there are people who are working selflessly for the upliftment of society. One institution which comes to mind is from the time I was in Nagaland. There is a school for the differently abled, the specially abled children called the Tabitha Enabling Society. And it's run by women, 3 young girls who have put in their life's work and savings into looking after these children. And these children are, in fact, just sent to school so that the parents can get some rest. And that's it. And they are working on shoestring budgets. And even as I speak, I think that they could be one of the award winners for next year.
I'm sure. Prasoon Joshi, we heard most beautiful words from you. Absolutely inspirational. You've been part of the, jury rounds, and you've seen what an amazing journey this has been. Anything that specially struck a note with you?
Yeah, I think, when we were discussing in the jury, it's such an eminent jury, I was privileged to be part of this jury. Often when you talk about change, you talk about the scale of change.
Yeah.
That how many lives it has impacted, and we debated that. It came into the forefront that, okay, this person has been impacting how many lives. One such example was the auto rickshaw,
ambulance. Yes.
Now what the truth, जिसे कहते हैं ना हासिल जो होता है, एक हासिल गजल एक शेर होता है. What was the essence for me is that these are the individuals जो इस चीज की परवाह नहीं करते कि कल इसको मैं स्केल अप कैसे करूंगा, लेकिन कर देना जरूरी है. That I have to start it. Somebody has to start it, and I have to listen to myself and do it. I think that feeling, we were completely in awe of that feeling. We all saluted that feeling that despite all the resources, knowing that how much can it be scaled up, वो शुरुआत तो मैं कर ही देता हूं. ये चीज जो ये जज्बा है, इसको हम लोगों ने सल्यूट किया. This was something which stood out in various cases. When we were talking about the tea garden, the lady, she was on the stage.
Yes.
And we were just talking, and I remember we were having a conversation with her. We connected on Zoom call with her. And with the conviction and passion she talked about, I think the questions were asked, how many people now you've trained and how many, it's a natural question, how will it be multiplied?
Yeah.
Now, the fact that, yes, it will be multiplied, the conviction is there. If not me, somebody else will do it. But वो दीपक जलता रहना चाहिए जिससे दूसरा दीपक जल सके.
True.
Absolutely. वो चीज मुझे सबसे ज्यादा खास लगी. And I think that completely resonated with me and stayed with me.
Sonam, you've also been a national hero. I mean, you have inspired many lives, right? What stood out for you in your journey as a jury this time around for Amazing Indians? What stood out for you?
Okay.
Any particular moment when you said, you know what, this is amazing?
Every day I see, Indians doing amazing things, and the way you all had brought on a platform all such people who are doing such amazing things, rising above all challenges of economics, challenges of gender, challenges of caste, and so on, to not only help themselves but extend beyond that. And that I find amazing. There are people who have all the means, but people who don't and still have that richness of heart to be of help to others. That has always amazed me, and I saw such amazing Indians here. Yeah.
आनंद कुमार जी, मच लाइक आप जो पहले बोल रहे थे, राइट, कि चैलेंज होता है क्योंकि मीन्स नहीं होते हैं, फाइनेंसेस नहीं होती हैं. आपकी खुद की लाइफ में जब आपने सोचा कि व्हाट, मैं अपनी नॉर्मल जिंदगी को छोड़ के मैं कुछ बच्चों के लिए जो पढ़ना चाहते हैं, जिनके पास मीन्स नहीं हैं, उनको फैसिलिटेट करूँगा, क्या तकलीफें आती हैं जब आप एक ठान लेते हैं कि मुझे कुछ करना है? क्या क्या परेशानियाँ आती हैं?
ये परेशानियां हमारे साथ नहीं, तमाम लोगों के साथ आती है जो कुछ चेंज लाना चाहते हैं सोसाइटी में. सबसे पहले जो परेशानी आती है वो इस बात की कि आपके साथ पढ़े हुए लिखे हुए साथी की नौकरी लग जाती है, उनकी जल्दी शादी हो जाती है, और बेचारा सोशल वर्कर से कोई शादी भी जल्दी नहीं करता है. बहुत कठिन,
वो हम सबने सुपर 30 मूवी में देखा था वो सीन.
तो बहुत दिक्कत होती है उनको. हर मामले में पैसे का अभाव रहता है, लोगों के ताने सुनने पड़ते हैं. और जब आपको सफलता मिलने लगेगी, जब आप शिखर की ओर धीरे धीरे चढ़ने लगेंगे, तो फिर माफिया आपकी टांग खींचेंगे, आपको कहीं ना कहीं फंसाने की कोशिश करेंगे, आपको मेंटली परेशान करेंगे. तो कई तरह की समस्याएं, कई तरह के चैलेंजेस आते हैं. लेकिन फिर आप लोगों की तालियां बजती है तो उन लोगों का, हम लोगों का उत्साह फिर से बढ़ जाता है.
Absolutely. Sonam, I'm sure much like Mr. Kumar here, you must have faced some hurdles, right, when you wanted to bring about change in the society. When you first started with the seed idea, as they call a startup now. I said as they call a startup now.
Yes, challenges definitely, but it depends on what you start with. If your expectations is what determines whether you're unhappy or happy. If you expect roses and applause, and then even silence is hurtful. But if you don't expect those, then anything that happens is a great boost. So I always believe in starting with no expectations, because happiness is, reality minus expectations. If you have your expectations very big, then you'll always be in the negative. If your expectations are low, then you'll always be very happy. So,
absolutely. So when did you start? Yeah, Prasoon, you wanted to add something.
What she is saying is one thing which we also feeling, and Sonamji or we were talking that day. I think the kind of efforts you're making today, देखिए इस देश के रोल मॉडल बदलना बहुत ज़रूरी है. अब समय आ गया कि हमारे रोल मॉडल्स हैं कौन. ये इसरो में आप लोग बैठे थे, मैं यहाँ पर आई वॉज हम्बल्ड बाय सीइंग यू देयर. आई नो इट्स एन ऑनर टू सी. हमारे देश के सामने आप लोगों को जो आप लोग कर रहे हैं, ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि अब सही जिनकी आवश्यकता देश को है, जो सचमुच निर्माण कर रहे हैं देश का, उस सचमुच निर्माण करने वाले लोगों को हम अपना रोल मॉडल यूथ का बनने दें और ऐसे प्लेटफॉर्म्स क्रिएट करें. And I think that is the reason this entire effort, and everybody in the jury would have given the time and commitment, because we also deep down feel कि समय आ गया है कि रोल मॉडल अब हमारे कोई और होंगे.
Dr. Rangarajan, must be a very special feeling, right, for what you're seeing right now, when every kid that you talk to and every individual that you speak with wants to do something with Chandrayaan.
Yeah, that is a fantastic
And
moment.
Aditya L1.
Of course, yes. So that way we are very, very happy to have, as he was just mentioning, the role models. You couldn't have got better than two people who would be your role models. Both genders are represented correctly, and therefore, keeping them as role models, you become the amazing Indian. You contribute the way they have done it, and it's all doable. That is one thing they themselves will assure. It is the commitment, it is your passion, and your keep going. ISRO, one of the things we all learned, never give up. Even the worst of the conditions when foreign agencies used to go to the insurance and get money, we said, no, we don't do that. We want to make it work. For that, we'll put our brains together and make impossible things happen. And that is the spirit that ISRO can pass it on to the rest of the country, and we'll make sure that it's something which all of us can do. It'll give us great happiness. As he correctly said, finally, how do you become happy? By just in the deed itself, it becomes happy. The outcome is incidental. It will always be good.
Did you ever think when you joined ISRO that one day we will land on the moon?
Well, way back in '99, when I was part of the team when we were discussing with the Indian Science Congress and so on, we were working out what are the kind of requirements a country will have. And again, in ISRO, everything is driven by the final end user. We don't do it for its own sake that we want to go to the moon or land. Only when you find that there is the right timing for that, when the things which are going to happen there is going to... Nowadays, of course, because of the private sector entry, commercial aspects also are important. But nevertheless, the timing is decided by the applications. In the mid-70s, 80s, we had different requirements for the space technology. And today, we have really grown up. We have created the kind of infrastructure, and the government spending is done. Right now, a lot of private people are interested in getting into this sector and reaping the benefits. And we will encourage them, and they can see that a mission like Chandrayaan or similar missions, ISRO will continue to do, but then the spin-offs is something which will go to everybody. You don't have to be building a rocket or building a satellite. You will get into the space sector indirectly, and that is what should happen.
So how soon before we actually have a commercial flight to the moon?
Well, very, very soon. In fact, I always have believed that it's not something which is decades or more than that. Timing has come when the cost of the transportation is coming down. Technologies have improved so much that it's only a question of, suppose, for example, to find the right kind of commercial interest in moon. India has chosen to work on the southern polar region so that there is a possibility of inhabitation, for example, in which case, if that clicks, you get water, you get helium, you get hydrogen, or you look at the things which are required to build human inhabitation, a lot of things will start. Day is not far off, at least for the younger people, you will take a vacation to the moon. Paid vacation.
Can't wait for that. General Naravane, when one talks about unsung heroes, the reason that all of us are here safe and sound in the room is because of people like you. And, all of the defense staff, top to bottom. Any special story that you came across in your career?
Well, I think national security is, of course, of very paramount importance. And the armed forces of the nation are charged with ensuring our territorial integrity and sovereignty. And each and every member of the armed forces discharges his duties to the best of his abilities. He's doing that job far from the limelight. There are no cameras trained on him. To that extent, I would say that each and every one of them is an unsung hero. Some of them do get recognition in the form of awards, whether for gallantry or distinguished service. But those awards, although given to an individual, are actually in recognition of the entire team effort which made that success possible. But I would also like to go on further on this issue of safeguarding our borders, that it is, and our national security, that it is not only the responsibility of the armed forces to keep our nation safe and secure. Keeping our nation safe and secure is the responsibility of each and every citizen. And all of us, all of y'all, you and me combined, all of us contribute to our overall national security.
So what inspired you as a young teenager to join the armed forces to begin with? Was it the feeling of, I want to do something for my nation, and it can be through only the armed forces?
Well, I think I joined the army because I didn't want to study. But unfortunately, the amount of studies you have to do in the army is even more than to get into the IAS. But be that as it may, I was fond of adventure and an outdoor life. And I think that is what prompted me to join the armed forces. The army, of course, and within the army also, I always wanted to be in the infantry because they are the sword arm and the cutting edge and who are always at the forefront of the action.
Prasoon Joshi, it's important, right, to have that dream. And only then can you know how to achieve it. And, as they say, that the universe will conspire if you really want something.
ये बिल्कुल मैंने तो जिन भी प्रोजेक्ट्स में काम किया है, I was just remembering when I was writing for तारे ज़मीं पर, and we did not know that वो फिल्म कैसे लोग रिसीव करेंगे, but then we all went ahead and did the film because it was important. कई बार ज़रूरी होता है उस चीज़ को करना, जिसे आप यूनिवर्स कंस्पायरिंग कहते हैं. I think this is purpose and intent. If it is pure, I think the fact that it has resonated here, इतने सारे लोगों के बीच आप इसकी गूंज सुन रहे हैं, इससे आपको पता लगता है कि the purpose and intent is pure and correct there. And as General Saab said, that it is the country when you talk about It is not the responsibility. Today, when you talk about borders, now we are living in information time. We are living in the world of AI and virtual reality. And what are the borders? You know, if emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, you are not committed to India and you don't love, you protecting with a weapon is one way of protecting. Protecting with thought is another way of protecting. How do you, what kind of energies do you emit for your country when you are in your milieu? आपके दिल से क्या निकलता है? आपको पता लगता है कि ये मेरे देश हित की बात नहीं हो रही है? क्या आपका विचार उसके प्रति विद्रोह करता है कि नहीं? ये सिर्फ जो है मशीनी विद्रोह नहीं है, ये सिर्फ शारीरिक विद्रोह नहीं है, ये सिर्फ बंदूकों से लड़ने वाला विद्रोह नहीं है कि ये मुझे अपने देश की चिंता है, ये परवाह है. ये एक वैज्ञानिक भी तो सोचता है, ये कलाकार भी तो सोचता है, ये एक एंटरप्रेन्योर भी तो सोचता है. सो कहीं ना कहीं जो जनरल साहब कह रहे हैं, आई कंप्लीटली रेजोनेट विद दैट. इट इज नॉट, इट कैन नॉट बी कंप्लीटली commissioned or given to a section of our society that go protect our country. While I keep thinking the way I think, वैचारिक रूप से आप क्या सिपाही हैं कि नहीं हैं?
Dr. Rangarajan, would you like to add something?
Yeah. What he says is very, very true. Because the good old demarcation of this part will do, they have to take care of defense, this is for education, this is for that. That compartmentalization is all vanishing. And we should rise to the occasion and be able to think and contribute. So an ordinary individual who can be in a village, he can contribute a vital clue to defense. Same way, again I'm quoting ISRO's example. The review mechanism in ISRO is so good that quite often the director of the center would suddenly find in the last bench one tradesman who will get up and say, look, when I did that test about 2.5 years ago, I found one little kink. That may be the clue for an onboard behavior. So that kind of things can come from anybody. You should not just make it all hierarchical and then compartmentalized. And that's a very, very good point, I think.
Sonam, that's the thing, right? You got to first break your own barriers. The way you think needs to change, right? For you to be able to go out of the way and do something amazing.
Exactly. No more of silos and all that. You have to do that, yeah.
Yes, I think people in India are truly amazing. Individually, they are amazing, and with all such recognition and support, I'm sure they'll be even more amazing. I had never a doubt about that. I only think that there could be more efforts to make India amazing as much as the Indians are amazing. There I feel we lose a lot of energy in the friction of kind of turbulent flow. I wish there was a more laminar flow, because one amazing against another amazing will produce a zero. So all amazing in one direction will make a world beater team of a country. So that's the thing we have to rise beyond.
And now we're many of us, the largest in the world, so it'll take a lot of us as well. But Anand, जैसा प्रसून ने बोला, जैसा सोनम वांगचुक भी कह रहे थे कि it takes a lot. मतलब आपकी ही स्टोरी अगर लें तो काफ़ी कड़ी परिश्रम, काफ़ी मेहनत, काफ़ी ऑब्स्टिकल्स का सामना करना पड़ता है. अपने आप को आप कैसे समझाते हैं कि व्हाट, ये पास हो जाएगा, दिस टू शैल पास, लगे रहो, कभी सक्सेस मिलेगी. हाउ डू यू डू दैट?
अभी प्रसून भाई ने बहुत अच्छी बात बोली कि हमारे रोल मॉडल बदलने चाहिए. हमारे रोल मॉडल हैं क्या? आज ये देश के लिए एक संकट की बात है कि ऐसे ऐसे लोग रोल मॉडल छोटे छोटे बच्चों के हो रहे हैं जिनका कोई उद्देश्य ही नहीं है. लेकिन इन तमाम परिस्थितियों में भी हम आपको धन्यवाद देते हैं. इसरो के चीफ बैठे हुए हैं, आपको प्रणाम करते हैं और धन्यवाद देते हैं कि इसरो ने जो काम किया है उन्होंने रोल मॉडल को बदल दिया. अब हमारे बच्चे सुपर 30 के कई जा रहे थे, अब और तेजी से इसरो में जाना चाहते हैं. तो इन्होंने एक उम्मीद जगाई, इन्होंने एक आशा दिखाया और अब मेरा कोई बच्चा आता है बोलता है कि अमेरिका में हम माइक्रोसॉफ्ट में जॉब कर रहे हैं, इतना डॉलर मिल रहा है, इतना डॉलर मिल रहा है, उसकी जो इज्जत होती है उससे ज्यादा इज्जत होती है अगर कोई प्रेमपाल, मेरा स्टूडेंट अभी इसरो में है, आया हुआ था मिलने, उसकी इज्जत ज्यादा होती है। तो इन्होंने रोल मॉडल को बदला है। ठीक उसी तरह से हमारे प्रसून भाई हैं जो कि नई नई चीजों को लिखते हैं, नई नई चीजों को इजाद करते हैं। क्रिएटिविटी कितनी अच्छी हो सकती है इसको समाज में बता रहे हैं। और हमारे साथ बैठे कई लोग हैं जो यहाँ अवार्डी है और जो थोड़े से नंबर के लिए, थोड़े से चांस के लिए चूक गए हैं, लेकिन उनका भी काम बहुत अच्छा था। हम लोगों को बहुत दुविधा हो रही थी किसको अवार्ड दे किसको न दे, वैसे लोग भी हमारे रोल मॉडल हैं। तो ये टाइम्स नेटवर्क आप लोग जो रोल मॉडल बना रहे हैं वही हमारे आपके सबके एक ऊर्जा के स्रोत होते हैं। कभी कभी मैं भी निराश हो जाता हूं, हार जाता हूं, लगता है कि अब कुछ नहीं होगा। तो आपको जानकर आश्चर्य होगा, वो बच्चा जिसके पिताजी ईंट भट्ठे में काम करते हैं और वो रात में 12-12 घंटे, दिन और रात मिला के 14-15 घंटे पढ़ता है, तो वही मेरा रोल मॉडल बन जाता है।
Prasoon, I think, what's also important is then finding role models, becoming a role model, and believing that you can do something small enough. Like you said, it doesn't have to impact a large number, but believing that you yourself can be the change. You don't have to seek change outside.
ये तो खैर बड़ी बड़ी बातें हो जाती हैं, और जैसे कि मैंने खुद भी कहा अभी कि शुरुआत मुझसे हो, ये अच्छी बात है, कविता में भी अच्छी लगती है। When we say it in poetic form, it sounds even better. But yes, जब हम बाहर जाते हैं तो ऐसा लगता है कि there are certain professions which are more lucrative. कहीं समाज में मूल रूप से कितना पैसा से ज्यादा कैसा पैसा को सेलिब्रेट करना बहुत जरूरी है। ये कितना पैसा है और कैसा पैसा है, ये जो फर्क है, ये जो जिंदगी का फर्क है, ये मूल फर्क है। जब उस लेंस से आप देखेंगे दुनिया को तो आपको जो एक व्हाट पीपल सीक, हम शिक्षकों की बात करते हैं, गुरुओं की जो इज्जत थी, आप उन कहीं पैसे से वो कॉम्पनसेट नहीं होते थे। टीचर्स उनके लिए हम खड़े होते थे, वो खड़े होना उनके होने का एक हिस्सा था। वो खड़े होना हमने बंद कर दिया। सो व्हाट वी डिड इज दैट you're saying, okay, like any other profession, you are also a transactional profession. So how much you make? I think somewhere we need to get that values out there. When अभी बात कर रहे थे कि रोल मॉडल्स की, वो रोल मॉडल्स तभी बदलेंगे जब we need to look up to them. And why would you look up if the society sanction is only for a certain kind of raw money or raw success, raw recognition? The recognition of this kind, which you are doing here today, if this is coveted, that people think that this is important, these forums are important. I'm not saying that, सोनम जी जैसे कह रहे हैं कि वो लोग जो वहाँ पे मौन रहकर, खामोश रहकर, बिना रिकग्निशन के काम कर रहे हैं, उनको तो हम सब लोग नमन करते हैं और करते रहना चाहिए, और वो लोगों की हमारी जरूरत नहीं है। They have certain drive inside, उनके अंदर एक आवाज है, उनकी आत्मा की आवाज है, उस पर वो चल रहे हैं, वो चलते रहेंगे। उसके बावजूद आई थिंक वी हैव अ रियल चैलेंज कि हमारा यूथ, हमारे बच्चे किस ओर देख रहे हैं, अपनी ऊर्जाएं कहां डाल रहे हैं, व्हाट इज दैट दे आर ड्रीमिंग व्हेन दे क्लोज देयर आईज, हाउ दे सी देमसेल्व्स। आई थिंक वो पिक्चर्स भी, वी कांट डिनाई दैट वी आर लिविंग इन द टाइम्स ऑफ माइंड more than bodies. Everything is out there in the virtual reality. People are in gaming, people are in, वो एक images में जीते हैं. We'll have to dominate those images with things which really mean a lot for our lives. And that change is what Amazing Indian kind of platform should endeavor to do.
Absolutely. Sonam, how do you keep it real? I said, how do you keep it real? I mean, you've touched lives of many children as well. How do you continue to become the role model that they seek?
I started working for these children not out of any inspiration by a role model or anyone. Sometimes you don't have the luxury of a role model or an inspiration. You are just moved by what needs to be done. Yeah? So the education system was such a disaster that I just had to do it. So while you would like to do the right thing, you would like to instill that character that they do things just because it needs to be done. The empathy of the heart to feel pain of others, not the luxury always of some role model that inspires you. More than that, it should be the empathy of wanting to change something. So I've taken inspiration from that, and I would like people to take inspiration from that heart of theirs rather than something that I have done.
Was it flattering, I have to ask you, that Amir Khan's character in Three Idiots was somewhat based on you?
Somewhat, yes. But
somewhat flattering or somewhat based on you?
No, it doesn't matter. We make a bit too much of Bollywood and cricket, I always say. I think everyone is a hero in their own lives, and that's what they should follow rather than just actors.
A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Anand Kumar ji, why Hrithik Roshan to play you in Super 30? And what I've heard is that you wanted only him to play you.
दरअसल में जिंदगी ऐसे ही होती है. एक डायरेक्टर हमारे पास आए थे कई साल पहले. उन्होंने कहा कि भाई आप पर सिनेमा बनाना चाहते हैं. हमको लगा कि भाई ये मजाक कर रहे हैं, कोई फोन से मजाक कर रहा है. बाद में वो आए, मिले, बातचीत बढ़ी, फिर वो चले गए. बहुत दिन तक कुछ नहीं हुआ. जीवन में ऐसे ही होता है. मैं भूल भी गया. फिर कई साल बाद, 8 साल बाद, जब खुशियां आती है तो बहुत एक ही साथ आती हैं. तो कई बड़े बड़े लोग, बड़े बड़े डायरेक्टर, बड़े बड़े स्टार, सब लोगों ने कहा कि मैं आप पर फिल्म बनाऊंगा. जब ऋतिक जी का ऑफर आया तो मुझे लगा कि कैसा ऑफर है. तो मैंने अपने स्टूडेंट से पूछा, घर परिवार में पूछा कि भाई ऋतिक जी मेरी भूमिका में आना चाहते. सब हंस दिया. ये क्या भाई, ऋतिक तो देखने में हैंडसम लगते हैं, ग्रीक गॉड, तुम देहाती मास्टर, तुम कुछ अपना जैसा चुनो, देहाती टाइप का चुनो. मैं डर गया. ऋतिक जी कहते थे नहीं मैं करूंगा. लेकिन दोस्तों, मैं जो एक्टर इसमें काम करना चाहते थे, मैं सबसे बात किया, सबसे मुलाकात किया. सब ने बोला 6 महीना में फिल्म बना देंगे, कोई बोला 3 महीना में बना देंगे, किन्होंने बोला 1 साल में. लेकिन ऋतिक जी ने बोला कि 1 साल तो मुझे आनंद कुमार बनने में लगेगा. तो मैं एज ए टीचर समझा कि जो विद्यार्थी मेहनती होता है वही सफल होता है. इसलिए ऋतिक जी को ही मौका देना चाहिए और ऋतिक जी ही बनाए.